Welcome to the internet on YouTube, everybody. This is Inside the Booth. I am Dan the Law, and today we have a great guest, Dreaming Tabitha.
It's me, Dreaming Tabitha, returning.
It's you.
My quarterly return or something like that. I don't know. It was back a while ago, and here I'm again, just popping up like a little gnome.
That's right.
Do some like lounge bossa nova. I think you had that last time too.
I think so. And so it's, for those of you who don't know, we're going to be talking about Inside Out.
How could they not know? It's in the thumbnail. It was at the beginning of the show. If they don't know, they're not paying attention, and you need a new audience. Come on, guys,
pay attention.
You need a new audience. Yeah, look, we even got a picture.
Oh, we got a picture.
But if they can't read, it says Inside Out.
This was the thumbnail, or still is, probably, for those of you.
I hope so. Otherwise, Big Brother's coming.
That's it. So I guess before we get started, I can kind of explain a little bit of my wonderful haircut and
I don't know what you're talking about.
Shave.
You did last time.
Yeah, nobody.
You haven't always looked like this?
No, I guess not. Some people might think I'm a different
very
person.
Observant, am I?
Yeah, that's it. So anyways, like I explained to you before, Tabitha, so Saturday, this last Saturday, for those of you who don't know which Saturday is which,
the Saturday that has been.
That's
the one that
right.
We've been unburdened by.
That's right. My church had a Wizard of Oz block party, and I was the mayor of Munchkinville. And as fun as that was, and as fun as that haircut was, I decided I did not need it anymore. So here's a picture for those of you who have not seen it. Here I am.
It is definitely a haircut for those with a certain taste.
That's right.
Now, your face, I think, says it all.
That's right. That's right. Here's another one.
This one looks a little more comfortable. Not completely, but it's getting there. You must have been warming up.
Yeah, I was warming up. That's for sure.
I don't know if you would have shaved the sides and kept the top. It would have been like this really prestigious kind of Mr. T, white boy Mr. T kind of look. I was thinking that. And growing the beard, and start telling everybody I pity the fool, But you could always try, grow it back and try again.
That's right. That's right. But hair does grow back, and on me it grows pretty fast. So in a week, maybe 2 weeks, you'll see.
You'll be braiding it. Yep.
I'll be exactly. I'll be braiding all my hairs again.
So, I admire the commitment. You should go to conventions,
Yeah, I've gone to small ones here in my little area, but not like the big ones like I should go to.
What has kept you from venturing forth to the promised land, Dan?
A little bit of this.
Cigarettes? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Money.
Okay. Well, if you stop the cigarettes, you'd have the money, Dan.
Yeah, right.
Priorities. Okay. It's either Comic-Con or cigs. It's up to you. I recommend Comic-Con. Nervous drinking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I was thinking I went from the mayor of Munchkinville to a mob boss looking type guy.
Do the mob bosses look like that anymore? Or do they just kind of blend in and look like regular people now? Because people are on to their ways,
Right. I don't know. Kingpin looks like this, right? He's bald.
Yeah, but he's not real.
Oh, that's true. He's not.
Yeah. So maybe the real ones just kind of blend in.
They blend in now.
They look like everybody else.
They
kind of like what Wednesday Addams said about homicidal killers. They look like regular people. They just look like everybody else.
That's it. They're just the regulars now.
They're just regular people with a slight mental disorder, which ironically sort of, only more innocently, leads us into the film.
Yes, it does.
It was an unintentional segue. Let's use mental health to talk about Inside Out.
Well, I mean, if for those of you who have not seen the first one, spoiler alert, and
yes,
yeah,
the spoilers will come. Well, but also because this came out in this came out in 2015, I believe. So the fact that well, to be honest, I had not seen Inside Out until this year. It was recommended to me by a friend because Inside Out 2 was coming out. And they're like, you need to see the first one. Obviously, who watches these things out of order? Fools.
Yeah.
Dukes. That's who do that. But I watched it. And of course, I will save how I feel, no pun intended, about the movie as we go along and have our discourse. But it's pretty cool they made a second one. Although, is it really just because of the fact that, everything gets a sequel? So you're going to find out tonight on Inside the Booth. Inside Out.
That's right.
Was it worth the sequel?
I don't know. So let's say
I wasn't
hello to
asking
Uncle
you.
Mike. I know. Hi, Uncle Mike. How are you doing? We got
JT.
Late Night with Cap. JT's here. And
He's
says
knocking it out of the park over there on his channel.
I am bald. If you
choice.
weren't here like 5 minutes ago, I guess you have to just rewind and see what I said.
Spoiler: earlier. Dan put Nair in his shampoo.
And that's it. Proof Dan. What's
Professor
that mean?
Dan.
Oh, is that what that means?
I believe either that or proof for something. I'm not sure.
Proof that I'm Dan. I am Dan.
I mean, I've never seen your driver's license.
But,
I can neither confirm nor deny that is your legal status. Legal name. But anyway,
that's it. All right, let's get into this wonderful movie. We'll talk about the plot first.
The plot of the movie. And of course, I always look forward to the Dan synopsis of this. So hit us, Dan. Hit us with the good synopsis of what this film is all about as according to the law.
All right. And the law says that it was about this baby who had some thoughts, and there was a kid inside their head, and and the baby was fun and then crying and then fun then crying, and then the fun person inside the head told the sad person, hey, stop touching things. And then in the end, they decided that they needed each other. And there you go.
Wow.
What the movie was about.
What a terrible description of this movie. I like it. That was great. There was a baby. The baby had some thoughts. There were some fun thoughts, some bad thoughts. The fun thoughts didn't like that the sad thoughts touched things. And so they went on their way.
That's it.
But according to IMDb, the plot is growing up can be a bumpy road, and it's no exception for Riley, who is uprooted from her Midwest life when her father starts a new job in San Francisco. Like all of us, Riley is guided by her emotions: joy, fear, anger, disgust, and sadness. The emotions live in headquarters, the control center inside Riley's mind, where they help advise her through everyday life. As Riley and her emotions struggle to adjust to the new life in San Francisco, turmoil ensues in headquarters. Although joy, Riley's main and most important emotion, tries to keep things positive, the emotions conflict on how best to navigate a new city, house, and school. And also, she's not a baby through the whole movie. If you haven't seen it, she's only a baby.
Oh, yeah, no, she grows up.
In the beginning. It's not a baby that has all these feelings. That's not a baby that, has turmoil and runs away, struggling. with who they are as a person. It's like a what, like an 11-year-old.
That would be so funny if it was a baby.
Oh, that would be
that baby.
That would be frustrating, you know, not being able to walk and properly talk, even feed yourself, and having all of these feelings of turmoil in the new city. That would be rough.
It would be.
Mm-hmm.
But the baby grows up and
like
figures life out. Yeah, I don't know, the whole. It's a cute concept, but it's just, I don't know. It's weird because there's like people living inside your head making you think things that. How do you know it's you thinking those things? Because that's another person.
You're taking it too seriously. It's just a representation.
It's just weird,
Like how are you supposed to personify joy or the feeling? How are you supposed to personify sadness? So the easiest thing is to make them goofy little characters. They're not necessarily other people. They're actually just as much a part of Riley as individual blood cells or whatever like that. It's just that they had to give it a persona.
Why do it? I don't know. I just don't understand.
Why did we have cars? They don't talk.
Well, Cars is fun though, They
Cars is unrealistic, but feeling such a dude.
That's it.
Can't give face to feelings. As far as the plot goes, I found it astounding. I found it very intriguing and enjoyable overall, just because it was fascinating as well, because it was so creative how they depicted, number one, all of the emotions. But I've seen it about 3 times and really? The little jabs here and there, because every time you watch it, there's something else, some kind of nuance, some kind of trigger towards it pointing to how the mind works, but again, trying to display it in a humorous and a whimsical way. Like the train of thought, is an actual train, but it just kind of stops all of the sudden, right? The fact that they give, the idea of who our true personality is, the main core of our personality, they make them little islands. And so the core personality things about Riley, is family and being silly and all these kinds of things. And the fact that our emotions and then displayed as those little memories, and then talking about the core memories and how they can affect us for life. And then, they get stored away. And then I just think it's brilliant that's later on in the movie, but when they're going through those hallways of memories that are long forgotten, the little cleaning crew, they go through and they see which ones are fading. They're going in the back recesses. So they put them in the abyss. And the abyss of forgotten memories. And after a while, the memories deteriorate and they're no longer a part of who you are, because they weren't core memories. They were just it's kind of like, when you went shopping the other day and you picked up a stick of gum, you're probably not going to remember that in 30 years. It's not a core memory, but maybe your mom buying your favorite bicycle, that you always wanted for one Christmas is going to be a core memory and develop who you are. And I thought it was brilliant. The plot of this movie is displayed so well in the struggle of preteens, because Riley hasn't had to deal with any hardships. Right. So she's suddenly going through her first major life struggle. And it's perfect.
Life-changing thing.
Life-changing, leaving your friends, leaving the place that you've grown up in and going somewhere you don't know anybody, and trying to adjust to that. Your parents are changing and you have to figure out how to navigate your feelings and learn how to control them. I think that for me personally, this was a lot more, the storyline was a lot more enjoyable than I thought it was. At first it did seem a little bit weird, because it's like, I don't understand, how is this going to work? And then the fact that they have that dashboard and each emotion, depending on the situation, takes control of the dashboard. And like when they're fighting over it too, and it changes color. And it does, it's very much like how we are. You can go from one color to another, if you will. I thought it was really
especially
great.
if you're bipolar and schizophrenic.
Well, that goes
Right.
into Inside Out too, but
No.
uh,
Nice.
sort of. But yeah, no. I think for me that this was the best way, one of the most creative and one of the best ways to actually help teach children and showcase creatively how emotions affect us. And you know, that's just me.
Yeah.
So I like the
Good
plot.
explanation. Good talk.
Thank you.
There. Good talk.
Better than babies having thoughts and going on tumultuous adventures.
That's right. Yeah, no. So
It
here's
happened.
my
It could
question.
happen. It could happen.
Yeah, it can. But here's my question: the whole memory thing and how they threw it into the abyss and they disappear, right?
Mhm.
Now, what happens when all of a sudden a disappeared memory comes back to you? That's something that you totally forgot about, right? Maybe 20 years down the road. How would they bring that back? Like,
Well,
oh,
so
but it was a disappeared one, but it just came back out of nowhere.
are
And
you talking about the elephant cotton candy creature?
sure, that too.
You have no
Sure.
idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Yeah. No. I bebop. Yeah,
Yeah.
bebong. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's going to be a little leeway with creativity too, but he was in the abyss. Now you do remember that some of those memories, like they weren't lit up, like they were just down
Right.
there.
Yeah, and they
And
were just
so it's
dull.
like I think it's also one of those things where it's like gone but never forgotten, if you will, or the other way around, forgotten but never gone. Because
Right. Okay.
they have like those therapists and whatnot that there are things that you just don't pay attention to, but they can help you and guide you through things and be like, now, what was the color of the drapes when you were murdering your wife? And you're like, oh, they were turquoise. I remember clearly now, but it's not something that you
Yeah.
think
Right.
about. Right. So I wonder if that would be the case when it comes to the abyss of the forgotten memories, forgotten but never
Yeah.
truly gone.
Right. Exactly.
Nervous drinking.
Not that they yeah, totally nervous. Not that they would uh uh like make another movie about doing something like that, but it's
What do you
just a
mean?
thought,
Another movie
like
about doing.
like bringing back all those forgotten or gone
Oh.
memories,
Well,
and
in the movie, it seems like they judge it based on, because the other thing is like Riley is in control of what she thinks about, of course, and so
right.
on the shelves you've got the cleanup crew, and they basically take inventory of which memories are starting to get. I don't know if you noticed, but they're like gray and foggy. So it's like, oh,
yeah,
this is not an important memory. It is not something that she focuses on. It's not something that she and that was the thing to
right,
recall. Getting the recalls of memory were so
right, yeah,
funny. Be like, oh, we're just gonna recall. And we say that like I recalled that, but like they were doing it like almost like a car that's with a bad engine. And you're like, oh, we're gonna get a recall.
yeah.
I thought that was really creative too.
that is. Yeah, so I don't know. It is a cute movie, but at the same time, I don't know about giving the plot a point. Just because it's just because it's weird, It's just a weird concept, and I understand what you said. It's good, but it's just I don't know. It's just like one of those movies. It's like it's just too weird.
Well, what is weird about it?
The whole thing, like the little people inside your head talking.
Oh, dude, we had Tarzan with talking monkeys. Humans can't communicate to monkeys. We have cars that talk to one another and have southern drawls. That's not real either. We're talking Disney.
I know. All right, I'll give it a point, I guess.
Sebastian the crab talking to a made-up humanoid person. But for some reason, emotions having faces and voices. It's weird.
And controlling a panel. The control.
Yeah,
panel.
like I said, it's definitely. I think that's what impressed me the most.
I'll give it half a point. How about that? I'll give it a half.
You do you. I can criticize you
for
not putting a point. It's all good. I think it's just for me, like you said, is kind of, I say it's kind of weird, but it's more like, I think this must have been a really difficult undertaking when they sat
Hmm.
around the table and said, "Guys, like, what if the imagination part did that?" Because they do that. They're like, "Here's imagination land and everything." And like I said, if you
Right.
watch this
Yeah.
a couple of times and pay attention to what they're saying, you'll notice that there's some really brilliant nuances that have to do with the psyche of the human mind that they just kind of casually and fun, just like really silly put it in there. And
Hmm.
I just and then they displayed the emotions so well, especially for a preteen, especially for a girl, a preteen girl. Like there's that moment where joy and sadness are like fighting over the table, and
Right.
it's changing Riley's mood. And there are times where I don't know if dudes
Hmm.
ever like this, but there are times where females are not um sure what they're feeling. They're just overcome by a lot of feelings, but
Hmm.
and there's also, the thing where a woman could be in tears, but she's happy crying. It's like, and that's why, spoiler again, at the end of the movie, I like where they have the merged feelings attached to a
Yeah.
thought, which is
Yeah.
so
That
brilliant
that's
because
good.
you
Yeah.
can have a happy memory that is also
Hmm.
touched by sadness because it's in the past. So creative.
Right. Right. I mean, it is. It is creative.
Darn
Yeah.
right it is. That's why I give it a whole big point,
That's
italicized
right.
and outlined and underlined.
You
It's a
did.
major
You
1
did.
point. Mhm.
So
The
acting,
acting.
the voice acting is what we
The
should
voice
call it
acting. That
because
takes a
it's
lot of work to be a voice actor.
it does, it does.
Yeah.
And I always enjoy, like, they obviously it takes a lot of practice too. um
Mhm.
I definitely enjoy watching people do like the voice acting and stuff like that,
Oh, yeah, it's
because
so fun.
some people you watch the behind the scenes and stuff. Some people you see them really acting it
Like,
out
they are
while they're
acting, yeah.
yeah which is cool. Which you don't always see that. Some people just
Mhm.
read and could be bland, I guess. But no, this was good. And the actors, Amy,
Poehler?
yeah, Paul, thank you.
Mhm. You're welcome.
Richard Kind, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Bill Harder, Lewis Black, Kaitlyn Diaz, Mindy. Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of
Mhm.
good.
Oh, you got some big names in there, yeah. Iconic
Yeah,
people. I think that, Amy
especially
Poehler as Joy was a perfect,
yeah,
perfect.
and Phyllis Smith, and
Oh,
she's from
my favorite.
yeah, and, being Sadness, and everybody knows where she's from, right? The
The
Office.
Office.
Yeah, so
Phyllis.
Phyllis
I
at
love
the
that her
Office. So
real name
it's
is Phyllis. Like, I
yeah,
think that's great. Could you
exactly.
imagine, like, being an actor no, not like, well, yeah, like, being an actor and getting to be your name, like, so it's not weird. You don't have to
Right.
get used to people calling you Sam or Ted. You're like, they just call you Phyllis. I wonder if it's easier to act and respond to that when people are actually using your birth name.
I'm guessing it is. I'm
And do you
guessing.
know that she wasn't even supposed to be a part of the Office cast?
Oh, really? No, I
She
didn't know
actually
that.
was she was just part of the crew, and she was, like, helping them read lines, and they loved the way that she just kinda had this method to what she did. They're like, "We've gotta put her in here," and I'm
Right.
so glad they did, and they gave a
Yeah.
woman
Yeah.
in her middle age, and let's just be real, okay? Like, I think she's a pretty woman, but by Hollywood standards, okay, she's not really attractive because she's
Hmm.
overweight, and she's
Hmm.
not in the good overweight category, right? She wouldn't be considered a curvy model. Like, she's just a regular middle-aged overweight woman who's kind
Yep.
of regular, if you will, right? And
Yeah.
she got
Just
this
like a mom or something.
well, yeah, and she just got this opportunity. Like, she's just probably one of these little office workers. Who knows? I forget exactly what her job was, but she was just like, she's just
That's
being
cool.
herself. And they're like, hey, we're going to hire you and make you one of the beloved characters of this thing. And to the future, like what, 10, 12 years later, she's now acting and everybody's like super excited because they're like, it's Phyllis from The
Right.
Office.
Yeah,
In
right,
fact, I had
exactly.
no interest
'Cause
in watching this film until I found out that Phyllis was in this movie.
oh, nice, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big
and
fan.
The Office is a great show. I mean that was a lightning in the bottle type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
That show was just
Very unique.
fantastic. Yeah. What's up, Ado? He says hello, my
I have
beautiful
to message you, sir.
friends. God
I have
bless
to
you both.
message you. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, I think the casting choice, Amy Poehler just has that vibrant energy that is just perfect for joy. And then Phyllis
Mm-hmm.
as sadness. She might as well
Mm-hmm.
just be like Cher or anybody, just Phyllis. Like she's Phyllis Smith. Who is that? It's just
Right.
Phyllis. It's just
Yeah,
Phyllis
just
from The
Phyllis.
Office. And Mindy Kaling as Disgust. Richard Kind as the big, like everybody was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
I think Lewis Black as Anger was
Bing
super
bong.
funny. I don't know him from a lot of stuff. I tend to see him in like TV shows here and there, like Big Bang
Right.
Theory and
His
whatnot.
voice is very iconic.
Distinct.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
distinct, and definitely you've heard him in other things before.
it was really good casting
It
for this.
was
I mean, that's why they have professional casting directors, of course. Sometimes
right.
they
Of
miss
course.
the mark, but for the most part, like this was great. And I happened to see that Frank Oz was actually one of the subconscious guards named Dave. That
Oh,
was pretty
nice.
cool. That was pretty cool.
That is cool.
But I would give a point for the acting as well, because the perfect contrast of joy and sadness, not only in the colors, but in the actors. Like I said, you got Amy Poehler, who just thrives off of caffeine and lollipops,
Right.
and then you've got
Right.
Phyllis, who
It's
just
Phyllis.
is Phyllis.
Right. Phil says
Phyllis
Frank
is
Oz was
Phyllis
in this
is
movie. Yeah.
Phyllis is like a step down. I say step down, but I mean in mood wise is like a step down from Eeyore.
Right. Right.
Like she's like two bars lower as far as on the happiness scale. She's 2 bars lower from Eeyore, and that's quite an achievement. Because like even when she
But
smiles,
does
it's
it
still
so
kind of
well.
like
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah. She
awkward.
does it so well.
So well. Who would have thought that just being yourself would take you far in life?
That's it. That's it.
It's beautiful.
Nobody would have thought that.
I wouldn't. But anyway.
Me either. Me either. Bing bong, bing bong. Kind of like that little jingle that he does,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
will give acting a point as well. And on to the next.
On to the next.
Everybody's favorite cinematography.
I always have a hard time with this one when it comes to animated films, because it's like you can literally put what exactly you need anywhere. You don't have to fight the elements,
Right.
Like you don't have to fight the actors per se.
Right.
Like everybody.
So
can
I
be
guess we could say we could look at this as not just cinematography, but like, how the animators did, or the animation of the movie, which I think they did a pretty good job with the movie in a whole.
Well, the colors are fun. How could you?
Yeah,
not?
the colors are fun, and that I don't know though. The only thing that gets me is the little glow that all the characters have.
You don't like
them.
that?
It's like a soft. No, not really. I mean, I like it, but I don't like it. It's like is it something playing with? Is my eyes playing tricks or what? Yeah, what's wrong with my eyes? And I don't know. So I like it, but I don't like it.
I get what you're saying. Like it was kind of tripping me up at first, but then when they had zoom in takes, right? Zoomed in takes. Then I noticed that it was like, is it sparkles? Is it fuzz?
Right.
Like what exactly is it?
Exactly.
So I get what you're saying with that. When it zoomed in though, then it was kind of cool because they kind of reminded me almost of the texture of Muppets. Almost like their hair was like sparkly like Muppet.
whatever.
felt
Yeah.
fur, whatever they had. So
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool once my brain could understand what it was that I was looking at.
What you're looking at.
And to me, I think that's pretty impressive because it's a small
It
detail
is.
that it might not necessarily have to be there, but it's little touches like that that
Yeah,
just
that
amplify
kind of
the film.
amplifies, right? And Bing Bong being cotton candy,
Half
he
of him
sure,
cotton candy,
yeah,
yeah.
he sure looked like cotton candy.
He was, yeah, it weirded me out at first because it's like, what is it? And
Well,
then when
I'm
he said
cotton
cotton candy, I'm like,
candy,
oh,
and an
okay.
elephant and a cat, and what else was he mixed with? And it was
Magician?
like it was the zoo days or something that
Yeah.
that was popular when she
When
thought of
it was
him.
little. I think it was also cool and a little bit trippy was when they mixed the styles, right? So you
Hmm.
had when they went into that, oh, I forgot what it was called, but they went into that vacuum wall thing that was between
Oh,
the
the
lands that they
abstract.
needed, the
Yeah, the
abstract.
abstract
See, and that
room
was
or
so cool,
something.
like the abstract
Imagination.
thought.
Yeah.
And like, how do you depict abstract thoughts, you know? And so the way that they
Right.
did that when they started breaking them down into these pieces and they became two-dimensional, we just went from like, basically a three-dimensional looking character to
Right.
flat. And it was just so
Yeah.
weird, but it
Yeah.
was cool.
Fall down on your face, and then they're like a flat line. So
Yeah, it was so when you get the opportunity, I'll just go ahead and say this, to watch Inside Out 2, it takes it up a step from that, and it's
does it? Oh, nice.
creepy in a good way because it's like, what am I doing? And they were able to mix the different styles of animation that we've had through the years, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
amazing. Like, it's mind-blowing, but it's a little weird.
Right.
It's a little weird, but it's so cool. Like, you can't look away.
Oh, nice. Phil says he hasn't seen Inside Out 1, only the second one.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Watching them out
that
of
is
order.
interesting.
Hey,
Someone's got to do it, I guess. Bing Bong
someone's
is my
got to
favorite.
do it.
Yes, I
Bing bong.
agree with you. Fab works.
I didn't like
Ditto.
him the first time I watched the movie, but then he grew on me when I saw him for the second and third time. So.
Right, and then his little jingle, that's just the bee's
That
knees.
powers up the little rocket ship.
That's who does not want to smell like cotton candy? That's true.
Look, I had my
He
Bath and
probably
Body
does.
Works days back when I was a teenager. I do not want to smell like cotton candy. No, thank you.
All day long. Are you sure?
No, thank you. No, thank you. Oh my! I had my vanilla
Anyways,
brown sugar era, and I'm good. I'm
vanilla
good.
brown sugar.
Yeah, let's
Nice.
just go for ocean breeze and cotton linen. Just keep it simple.
Right, yeah. You're
Maybe
just
a green apple on a
right.
fancy day, but like let's just
on a fall day, right? It's gotta
let's
be
just
fall for green apple.
keep it on the DL. But I give
Right.
it a point for what it's worth.
Okay.
I think that they
Yeah.
displayed everything well.
I'll give it a point too, just because I know I can't do anything like that,
Well, if that's the reason we're basing off the points, like then the Acolyte should get a zillion points because we can't do any of that stuff either. Foundation for criticism. I give it a point because I can't do it.
Right.
It's not our job.
Well, there was I did start watching a movie not too long ago. I forgot the name of it, but it was an animated movie, and it was like the boringest animated movie I've ever seen, and I didn't even finish watching the movie because it was just so boring. And so yeah, I guess there is something to a good animated movie, especially like the graphics, because when you get an animated movie that's not like a full on, fully done graphic, then it's not like I don't know, it just doesn't keep your interest, because I guess maybe like you said, even though the eyes play tricks on you, like the fuzziness, but when you come into the detail of it, it's like your eyes are looking at everything,
Yeah,
and not just a flat 3D model. It's just, yeah. Colin says, Acolyte, not that bad.
You're entitled to your opinion. I strongly disagree. I liked the music.
On the Acolyte?
Mm-hmm. except
Oh,
for the
nice.
witches song and the weird song at the end of that one episode. But like
Right.
overall, the musical score, I should say, the musical score of the Acolyte, I did enjoy.
Right. Well, at least you enjoyed something. I always
Yeah,
enjoy lightsaber fights, so that's what I enjoyed in the Acolyte.
I mean, I know this is
And
not an
that was
Acolyte show, but like
right.
I was intrigued by the whole idea of the kung fu Jedi. Like I thought that was actually pretty cool. The
Right.
fact that they were fighting without using lightsabers. I know everybody's like it's Jedi and we gotta have lightsabers and Star Wars is all about lightsabers. Number one, it's not.
Hmm.
Secondly, um, for my own opinion, I just thought that it was a nice change that didn't destroy lore or whatever. It was like because some Jedi, as we've seen with episode 1 and all that, there are some Jedi who have a different approach to the Force that's not necessarily out of line with the creed of the Jedi, but it's different. So with what's her name? I don't know, the Matrix lady, Trinity, when she when she chose with her method of fighting was just different. She didn't negate the force. In fact, she used the force in her kung fu method. So I thought that was a nice like that was cool. If they all were kung fu fighting, okay, we would have problems. I don't want all my Jedi kung fu fighting because not everybody was
Right.
kung
Right.
fu fighting. But just having one
Everybody
because
is
it's
kung
kind of
fu
yeah, it just
fighting.
kind of
Huh,
reminded me a little bit of
ha.
Qui-Gon, who
The
was
kids were fast
who
as lightning. Huh,
somebody who
ha.
believed in the Jedi, but and the Jedi ways, but still went against the grain because of his own beliefs or choosing. But anyway, this is not the Acolyte. This is Inside Out.
Man, I should have had you on for the Acolyte when we talked
It's
about
okay.
it.
Nobody
Jeez,
needs to be talking about. That's not true.
this is
Hey,
true. But
it was pretty.
we watch it so you don't have to. Anyways, there's some what other people say. Anyways,
You, at the end of the day, you like what you like, and it's okay.
that's right. That's right. Kung Fu Panda with a lightsaber. That would be sweet.
I would watch that.
I would. Yeah, me too. I
I
would
would
love
watch
that.
that.
Writing was pretty bad in my opinion, but I thought having it imperfect characters was cool. But I could talk Star Wars all
I
day.
have
Sorry to
nothing
get you both
against
off topic.
I have nothing against imperfect characters. Imperfect characters are key. Okay. They're important to make a story realistic. Same thing with
Cherokee.
Inside
Duh.
Out. Joy was not perfect. She was overbearing
Mm-mm.
and she was a control freak because her whole life's essence, if you will, was to make sure that she kept Riley happy. And as children, our
Mm-hmm.
primary emotion is joy because ignorance is bliss about the real world. And
Right.
so, in the end, which is part of the plot, in the end of it all, actually, the hero of the story is sadness because
Right.
sometimes we need to be sad.
Right.
Sometimes we need to realize our struggle in life. And there is sometimes we need to tell our loved ones we're not okay. And it,
Yeah.
like I tell people, it is
Yeah.
okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to stay not okay. Right. We all
Correct.
have our
Yeah.
moments. It's
And yeah.
okay to be sad.
Yeah, it is. It is. And as a parent, I try to tell my kids that all the time is use your
Yeah.
words, talk it out, talk
Mhm.
to us. You don't just get mad and run away because that doesn't solve anything. Um,
Yes.
so, so
Yeah.
that is something that, you know, I do agree with. And
Yeah. So that's another reason why I like this movie too, where it kind of I think it could help kids and adults. Honestly, there was a
right
moment where
for
I like
understanding. Yeah.
I'm pretty in touch with my emotions. There was a moment where I hate to use the terminology of the day, but I got to because it's just the words that work. But like I felt seen, I felt understood in a certain
Right,
part of
right.
this movie where it's like Riley said at the end of the film when she was thinking of running away and she did run away and she came back and her parents were like, "We missed, where were you? We were so worried." And she was
Mhm.
focused so hard on trying to make sure that she stayed happy in front of her family that it ruined her. Like it caused her to become so discouraged that she became emotionless. And a lot
Right.
of adults struggle with that because you just do the same
No,
thing
she
from day in
became
and day out.
emotionless because nobody wanted to touch that little keyboard.
Well, and then when they did, they couldn't change anything because of the fact
Right.
that, yeah. And so I just, when she had confessed to her parents that
Colin
I'm not
says, super well
okay.
said.
Thank you. I read. And when when
I read.
she it helps with literacy. It helps with speaking.
It does.
Um,
Blah, blah,
and
blah.
plus, I was a co-host on Inside the Booth for a year and a half, or 2 years, or something like
That's
that.
right. 2
Get you out
years,
of
yeah.
box. But to finish the point, she finally confessed to her parents that she wasn't okay and that she was so tired of basically. She worded this in children lingo of bearing the
Mhm.
burden of the family's happiness.
Yeah.
And some of us may have been there. And it tore me because it's like there are children that are like that. There are adults that are like that. Like,
Right.
we are working so
Yeah.
hard to cover our feelings because we want other people to be happy that we have not acknowledged our own. And so in the end, Joy was like,
Mhm.
sadness, this is your time to shine. Riley needs to
Yeah.
cry. People don't realize
Yeah.
that. And I know
Yeah.
it's different for each gender, but a lot of people find it very therapeutic to cry. I know some
Oh,
people
yeah.
that
It is.
literally, they're not necessarily sad, they're just overwhelmed. And if they have a good cry for like 3 minutes, they're literally happy as soon. It's just a release. It's just a
Yeah.
release.
Yeah.
It's not like
Well,
they're, you know,
yeah, exactly. No, that's true. Real men do cry. You know that, right? Um,
I believe that. I think there's no, Jesus did. So
that's right. He wept.
now
You remember
I
that
have a
verse?
problem with men that cry all the time and cry over piddly things,
Oh,
but
right, right, right. I get that. I get that. Um, um, well, I guess since you're on that, and I know we're skipping the music part, but I did have something I wanted to say for the allegory, and that was Psalm 30,
Mm.
verse 5. It was, for anger lasts only a moment, but its favor lasts a lifetime. Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the
Comes in the
morning.
morning.
So
Mhm.
it's okay to cry and weep and mourn for things
Yeah.
because the joy comes back, after doing so. So
Yeah, because if you
yeah.
stay sad, it's like a toxin, you know?
Hmm.
It'll poison you. And even though it's just kind of like, honestly, it's just like water that you ingest. Water's not bad for
Hmm.
you. Water is good for you. But
Hmm.
if we study biology and everything like that, we know what happens to water in our bodies. And if we keep that in our body, then it becomes toxic to us and we must release. So the same thing with
Right, right,
sadness. You can indulge in sadness. You just don't keep it in.
right, exactly.
No, it's a great allegory. I mean, even in, was it Ecclesiastes, is it? Or is it, I think it's Ecclesiastes where, a time to sing, a time to dance, a time to weep, time to,
Hmm.
mourn, all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a time for everything.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's good. That's good. I know we just skipped over the
Well, there's
music of the
not the
movie,
music. Okay,
but
I'll give the music a point because that little ditty, I don't know all of it. Dun, 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 dun. Like, it's just
right.
a whimsical. Like, it just kind of reminds me a little bit of Winnie the Pooh. It's just like it's just so perfectly complimentary to everything that's happening because it is a mesmerizing little jingle to me because of the fact
Hmm.
that our primary characters are joy and sadness, and this little
Hmm.
tune seems to somehow, for me, embody both feelings
Right,
in
right.
this little
No, yeah,
tune. It starts off kind of happy,
and it
and then it
right, and
kind
it
of like
plays. Yeah,
a little
when it
down. I
plays a
like
little
it.
slower, it sounds a little sadder. When it plays faster, yeah, no, I get it. No, yeah, they
Yeah,
did a good
it's
job with that for
great.
sure.
It lets you ride the wave of emotion, which good music is supposed to do that.
That's right. That's right. And plus the little Bing Bong song. Uh,
To be
Bing
honest, I
Bong, Bing
don't
Bong,
like it,
dabba dabba dabba
but
da, Bing Bong, Bing Bong. I don't know. It
it's an
sticks in the head though.
it's an earworm. You know what? That is usually a sign of a very creative superpower because if you don't like it, but you still humming it to yourself every now and then,
Yeah,
that's
just
all to
like
you.
the commercial that Those guys threw up in the thing, and we like
Mint
to throw that up there every once in a while.
That was so funny. I laughed at that because it's so relatable. This is what I'm saying. Like, yes, we all have this stupid thing somewhere in the back of our brain. Like every now and then, do you remember the Budweiser commercials from like, I don't know, 2003 or something like that with the chameleons and the frogs or whatever that was so popular? Budweiser. Like every now and then.
Right.
Yeah. Think about that on the regular, but every now and then.
What about the what's up one?
What's up? I know. Actually, for me, it's more Surge. That short-lived soda. That was my era. Surge. Or the Jenga, when Jenga first came out, the game, and they had all those weird teenagers that sounded like they were in a cult, and they're all like circling around it, like Jenga. Yeah. I don't know. When I was little and we played that, I thought you had to do that. Like I thought it was part of the game. Like you had to say Jenga.
Oh, you had to. You had to.
That's what I saw in the commercial. You know, Jenga. No, not like that. Like when you're pulling out the pieces, like Jenga. Almost like I don't know, like reverse Uno, where instead of saying it at the end, you say it throughout the game.
That's funny. Kids. That'd be uno dos. Uno dos tres. Yeah.
So I give music and allegory a point.
All right. You know, I'll do the same because it's the same.
More of the same.
Same, right? Same. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That is wonderful. And we did go out of. I didn't even click on the little.
Oh, it's because we were so.
Pictures.
We're already talking. We were talking.
We already talked about that.
We didn't need the distractions. Yeah. We had to just.
That's right.
To say what we had to say.
Yeah, exactly. So this movie gets a 9.5 out of 10.
Of course it does. It's a great movie. I was surprised because I was apprehensive with the track record that Disney has with, these kinds of movies. I wasn't sure. I was not ironically, I was not optimistic going in, but I trusted my friend, and so I watched it. I'm like, I like this. I like this so much that I was cute. Like, I told my mom, I'm like, I want to show you this movie. Yeah, it's very rare that
it is a cute movie
for me or like my mom that we go back and watch like children's movies. But I'm like, this is such a good movie. Yeah, and I can't wait for the second one to come out.
And this isn't a review on another movie, but Elemental was a similar style.
I haven't seen that one.
And cinema in graphics and stuff. So
yeah, well, they're all the same. They're all this way now, aren't they?
Kinda,
pretty much.
Yeah, which makes me sad because I like to see new stuff.
I miss the late 90s, early 2000s animation like Atlantis and Tarzan and all that.
Mm-hmm. Where they spent more time on it and.
Well, yeah, they were introducing more computerized graphics into cartoon form, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. It was different.
That's true. It was just special.
Yeah, I wish they would go back to that. Like with Princess and the Frog, I think was like the last cartoon-styled Disney movie, which was surprising because at that time, animation like these computerized things were big. So it's surprising that they decided to do Princess and the Frog in the more old-fashioned way, which I'm glad that they did. I think it made it better. I wish they would do that again. Like surprise us.
Yeah, surprise
us and do the next Moana in cartoon form. That'd be great.
Well, they do that in like when it's a more lower budget.
Yeah, the TV shows and stuff like that.
Like a series, yeah. Like a series, they do that. They re-released The Lion King in theaters in June. Oh, did they?
It's the 30th anniversary. Can you believe it? Do you feel old?
Yes.
30 years since Lion King.
I feel older than that, but yeah.
That's crazy.
Phil said he was shocked when his mother wanted to see Toy Story 3 when it came out in theaters. One of the best experiences ever, he says. Aw, how sweet. But yeah, Disney does that. The movies, they'll do 3D animation. The series they do more of 2D.
You sound like Gollum
style.
there for a second. The series is.
The series. The series is.
Yeah. You're in your Gollum era. Oh my.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I got no hair on my head. Maybe that's why.
You need at least 5 long ones to
yeah,
qualify.
that's it. Just.
So.
I'll
But
glue
no,
them on
overall,
there.
I like this film. I would recommend it to anybody. I was happy that there was no woke interpretation that I could sense anywhere, to be honest. It was a happy nuclear family. Little girl wasn't questioning who she was. She was confident in who she was until her emotions, because of pubescent, the stuff that's going on inside. And that's just normal. It's just normal.
Yeah.
And loving parents, and just difficulty having friends, and not being on her phone all the time, and she wasn't having staring at dudes all the time, but she had a healthy crush in the back of her mind, and
crush, yep,
she had a crush on one of the boy bands, so a healthy young
I'll die for
girl.
Riley, and then
die for Riley.
made 99,000 of them.
That was so unexpected. It was great. I'd die for Riley.
Yeah,
I would
every time they came out.
I would recommend this movie, and I would strongly recommend the second one. It introduced, because Riley becomes a teenager, so it introduces new emotions that teenagers have to deal with. And again, I think that movie's also really done really well with that. I didn't get any wokeness out of that film either, despite what some people say.
Nice. Okay. Cool. So I guess I will watch the second one then.
You should. You should.
Yeah, I was going to with my kids, but then it only lasted a week in our theater because it's a small theater, and they switched it with another movie because other movies were coming out too, and
for sure.
Trying to make some money, and I just didn't get a chance to get over there that week, and I was like, darn it.
You've been building barns and raising bridges, and building hen houses, all that stuff. Yeah. Digging ditches.
Exactly. Digging ditches.
Yep. Living that
castles,
lifestyle. Yep. Castles in the sky. Chasing waterfalls.
Chasing that. You got to do that one once in a while.
Every now and then you got to chase a waterfall.
Yeah, exactly.
Despite
just don't chase it. Don't chase it down. Yeah.
Unless it's a short.
Just don't chase it down. Yeah. Right. Unless it's a small little.
And don't do it in South America. You'll get a disease. But any other waterfall will be fine.
Right. That's great. So yeah, that's it, everybody. This is the end of our show. Thanks for watching. I didn't even say to go buy merchandise. Don't forget to go buy some merchandise at www.insidetheboottv.com/shop and become a Patreon member or become a member here on YouTube, and help us out financially. What was I going to say? Our StreamYard is almost up next month. So yeah, so it would be helpful if anyone would like to donate. Even throw up a what are those things called? Super chat, super sticker. Help us out. Any way you can. We got T-shirts, merchandise. But by the way, we still have that new T-shirt that everybody seems to like. We sold about 5 of them so far. Oh, and here's what it looks like.
Nice.
So yeah.
Pretty sure he wasn't alive in 1776 though.
Oh, this is true, but I wanted to use the.
I just kidding.
The symbolism of 1776 with,
of course,
what's going on today. So you know how that is.
Of course,
I think you do.
Symbolism is everything.
And what an awesome person! This Dreaming Tabitha sent us this super sticker for $2. Thank you, Dreaming Tabitha. Yeah, and that's it, guys. Thanks for being here. We love you all. You are all wonderful people, and hope everybody has a great night. And Let me throw up some music. Thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Uh-huh. The best.
Oh, are we supposed to just keep talking?
Or... We could. It doesn't. We don't have to, but we can.
Have you ever wondered just how much wood a woodchuck could